In this video, I'm going to go over things that you can actually do to increase your chances of getting on Spotify editorial playlists. Now, just to be upfront about this, I've only been on 3 editorial playlists so far, and really it's kind of 2, because one of them is one of these like special "This is Andrew Southworth" editorial playlists that they made for me. I don't know how I qualified to get my own dedicated editorial playlist. But this is one of them, so that kind of doesn't really count, right? And then these 2 were personalized editorial playlists, and a lot of editorial playlists are personalized. So they're editorial, but they're kind of algorithmic as well. So one was Bass Arcade, that has about 1 million followers, and this other one is a much smaller playlist with like 20,000 followers or something. So I've been on 3, but over the last couple of years, I've talked to hundreds, maybe over thousands of artists, either one-on-one or online in my course, in my community. And I've noticed a lot of trends that have happened. So I noticed firsthand that the people that tend to get on editorial playlists more often were artists that tended to be a little more niche or have some type of thing about them that makes them stand out. And I'm not talking about music or artistic sense. I'm talking about just like them as a human being. So I'll tell you a little story. There was this one artist that was a Japanese lady making like electronic future-based music. And every single time she dropped a song, and this was back when I think she had less than 10,000 monthly listeners. So this wasn't like a huge artist type scenario where like, you're a huge artist, you get to add it to an editorial playlist every song. This is a relatively small artist, right? And every time she dropped a song, it would get on like 3 editorial playlists. And then a month later, drop a song, same 3 editorial playlists, and sometimes, other ones as well. And I took a look at these playlists, and what I noticed is that they were Japanese-focused electronic music playlists. And so since she was a Japanese artist making electronic music, how much competition was there? And this is another thing I've noticed, is that if you fall into a certain bucket, you're going to be more likely to get on certain playlists. And so Spotify Editorial has playlists for big, broad genres, right? They have metal playlists, they have hip-hop playlists, they have rock playlists, they have country playlists. But they also have country-specific playlists in a lot of genres. And going even further than that, they also have lifestyle-related playlists in certain genres and cultural-related playlists in certain style genres. And so that's why when you're filling out your Spotify editorial pitch, it asks you, like, what culture do you identify with? So, for example, if you're making Christian hip-hop music, you should check the little Christian box, because now you're taking your song from competing with every other hip-hop artist in the world that's dropping a song that week to just the Christian ones, right? So obviously, the playlists you're getting on aren't going to be as big as like Rap Caviar, but they're still going to be editorial playlists, and it's still going to be free streams. And I'm sure that if you get on these playlists regularly enough, then that may help you getting on larger editorial playlists over time. And on that same note, this is why when you're filling out that editorial pitch, they're asking you about subgenres. So they don't want you to just put in rock music, right? They let you pick 3 genres. And so if, instead of just saying you're a metal band, if you're an alternative metal band, you're also a metalcore band, and then maybe you fill another subgenre. So try to be as accurate as possible when you're filling out those genres, because those are ways for Spotify to funnel you down to what playlists you can possibly be in. And that's also why they ask you about the instruments. It's why they ask you about this style of song. Is it a holiday song, or is it a beat song? Is it a ballad song? Because they want to funnel you down to the right playlist so they can send you to the right curator. And if you're always pushing yourself to the broadest curator that's getting the most submissions, the competition is going to be incredibly more fierce. And now another thing that I've heard that can help your chances, and I don't know if this is if completely true or not, but if you mention in your actual pitch what playlist you think you should be on, like you've done your research, you've looked at a bunch, my song definitely fits in these like 2 or 3 playlists, mention them in there. And to me, this makes sense, because anytime you want to essentially get a favor from someone in real life, it helps it if you do their job a little bit for them. So let's say you're at work and you want your coworker to do something for you that's part of their regular job. Well, if you give them this information to prepare for you in a way that makes their life easier and does part of their job for them, they're going to be like, oh, sweet, thank you so much, I'll get right to that. Like, you didn't have to do that, right? So Spotify Editorial, again, don't know for sure, but if you tell them this playlist, this playlist, this playlist, it makes sense to me where that might be able to help you actually get funneled down to the right person who can check out your song. Now, also when you're doing those pitches, it's important for you to mention the story behind the song, the story behind the lyrics, how the song was made, because they may also have playlists for certain meanings of songs. So if a certain type of love song, so it relates to a certain culture or human thing, right? That they can put on a playlist, like this is a playlist for this style, this is a playlist for crying in the shower to, or whatever. You know, they have thousands of these crazy playlists that are super specific, and if you can tell them exactly what your song's about, it's going to help them put it in the best possible places. So I do want to point out that Spotify editorial playlists are incredibly competitive, right? There's like tens of thousands of songs uploaded to Spotify every day, and you're kind of competing with all those people. Now, obviously, all of them aren't pitching their music, but you're competing with a lot of people. And I also want to point out that the editorial playlists are good, right? Like Bass Arcade, I was on it for about a month. It had 1 million followers. It gave me 45,000 streams, which is cool. But Discover Weekly has given me 430,000, and Radio 121, Release Radar 53. So they're good, but they're not as good as algorithmic playlists, at least up to 1 million followers, right? And in terms of the data that I got from this, like I've seen better quality engagement metrics from the algorithmic playlist compared to the editorial playlist. So now, on that note also, I don't think anyone should make playlists the entire focus of anything, especially on editorial playlists because they're so competitive. And the reason why I don't think you should necessarily make playlists the focus of your thing is because they don't allow people to kind of stick to your brand, right? They're just listening to you passively in the background. But if you want to see how you can actually, which ways you can get on Spotify playlists, I did this video right here where I compared doing a bunch of playlist push pitches to a bunch of Submit Hub pitches and the data that I get back from it. So, generally, my advice is use Facebook ads to promote your music. That's worked best for me. If you want to see the playlisting thing and how that went, check the video out right there. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you next video. Bye.